Hello everybody, Shinjo here, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the Crunchyroll Anime Awards. Well, not the actual awards, but every year around January, Crunchyroll has their own anime awards based off of what came out the previous year, and it kind of snuck up on me this year. I forgot about it, but since I've recorded my votes for previous years before, I figured that it would be fair to do it this year. It looks like they worked on the layout of things because it's a bit different than what it was the last time that I voted. But before I get into this, I am not even touching Anime of the Year just yet because I'm saving that for the very end. So let's start with Best Continuing Series. And we have Attack on Titan, Demon Slayer, JJK, One Piece, Spy Family, Vinland. So this is going to be hard because I feel it's going to be a fight between the top three. Attack on Titan literally just ended. Demon Slayer, very solid arc. JJK, that's another thing entirely. I think if any of these are going to get my personal vote, I think it's going to be Kimetsu no Yaiba. I think that is what I'm going to be picking because I really liked it, and even though it may be a normie pick, I'm not upset about it. Next, we have Best New Series. I don't know. Oh, this is what they're talking about. Okay. Okay. Oh my. Oh, wait. Oh, I just realized. That's how they're doing things. So, if anybody was aware, what I did last year when I recorded this, I was surprised that shows like Mob Psycho 100 didn't make it into the list. And that's because they came out at the very end of the year, so they weren't counted. And the same goes with Bocchi the Rock. It came out in late 22, I think it was. And they're counting it here. So that's interesting. And the same thing with Chainsaw Man, come to think of it. This is honestly hard because I'm definitely between Oshinoko, Bocchi the Rock, and Zom 100. But I'm not sure which one I should go for. At the moment, my heart is telling me Zom 100. I just really love the show, and unfortunately, it's not going to get the publicity it deserves because of how its airing schedule was. But that's what I'm going to be picking. So that was Best New Series. So up next is one that I know nothing about, Best Film. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, that's my pick. I have not seen Blue Giant, I don't keep up with Psycho-Pass, and I haven't seen the first Slam Dunk or Suzume. So I really only keep up with Black Clover and Kaguya-sama, but I haven't seen the new Black Clover movie. So I suppose by default, that means that Kaguya-sama is going to be my pick. Original anime. I can see where this is going, and we got a lot of options. So I know what this means. Oh, it showed it right there. It says an original anime not adapted from a source material like a new creation. I didn't know Buddy Daddies was an original creation. And I feel like I should actually mention this. The reason that I have no progress here is because in order to vote, I have to put my email in, and I'm already recording this video, so I can't be bothered to do all of that. And actually, I didn't know a lot of these were original. I suppose by default, it's going to be Buddy Daddies. Because I started watching Do It Yourself, didn't really vibe with me. I wanted to watch Akiba Made War, but I haven't gotten around to it yet, so I suppose that's my own fault. But I guess just based off of default, my choice is going to be Buddy Daddies. Best Animation. I feel like I know one of them that's going to be here. I am not looking at the screen, and I'm just going to say Jujutsu Kaisen is here. There he is. Okay, well, there could be a case made for a lot of these. Actually, is it really fair that MAPPA has 3 shows on here? I am not sure if it's really fair. But I think just based off of my own opinion, and the fact that I already picked Kimetsu no Yaiba already, my vote's for Mob 100. I really love the show, and I feel like it is fair to give it the props that it deserves, because it came out not last year, but still is included here, so I feel like that's fair. Although, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a select group of people that pick Trigun Stampede just because of it being 3D. But regardless, Mob Psycho is definitely my pick for best animation. The opening alone deserves that. And now we're up to best character designs. And we have these options. Man, character designs? I mean, I don't even know if I can judge shows that I haven't watched for this. But I will say, I love the character designs in Oshinoko. I really like Ai's design. Honestly, I like a lot of the character designs. I feel like a case can be made for a lot of these. Although, to be fair, Demon Slayer and JJK are the only ones that are sequels to their existing properties. And I think when it comes to character designs, I think I'm actually going with Chainsaw Man for this. I was going to make it a rule that unless it's for OP or ED, I wouldn't choose a show that I haven't fully watched. But the character designs in Chainsaw Man are just really cool. Even though the show itself, I'm not the hugest fan of compared to most people. But they have really good character designs. So we wrapped up character design, so next is Best Director. And clearly, I know everything about directing. You know, I feel like I'm seeing the same things. Because Oshinoko has been on here. Bocchi the Rock, while not as prevalent as others like Chainsaw Man, are there as well. But let me see what it says for director. A great director. Of central importance, directors work behind the scenes, conveying their vision to animators, making critical decisions and managing the creative aspects of production, an approach that's uniquely theirs. So, because I was thinking about Bocchi the Rock, mainly in the opening, assuming that Saito worked with the opening as well. I like how it shows Bocchi performing by herself, and then the other girls, and that whole scene in the OP, but I think, you know what? I'm gonna pick Oshinoko. Because I really like, I don't know if Daisuke Hiramaki was inside the production with the manga or light novel or whatever it is, but I like how well they took the scene with Ai at the end of the first episode and translated it into the anime. I just really like that. But I think, to be fair, if Oshinoko shows up for OP, I may not pick it, just to be fair, because I don't want it to be a landslide with Oshinoko. But now we're going to cinematography, which I'm actually going to have to check on what it says, because I would think it's the same as director. Composition of individual scenes, paying particular attention to the use of light and shadow, camera angles, depth of field, and scene transition. So that sounds like what I just talked about with Oshinoko, and it's not even here. So you know what? Since Oshinoko isn't here, I'm actually going to pick Jujutsu Kaisen for once. Just to prove that I actually watch the show and enjoy the show. Because if you would just watch this video as your first on my channel, you might think I don't even watch Jujutsu Kaisen. But not even considering the things going behind the scenes at MAPPA with JJK, the season itself was really solid. Best art direction. Me and my feeble brain just thinks that this is the same thing, and look who's here, Oshinoko. Art direction involves all things visual to create the look and feel of an anime. Color, design, and animation style are only some of the considerations, as the tiniest of details must be kept in mind so that a show feels like a cohesive and distinct work of art. So we got Oshinoko, Chainsaw Man, Demon Slayer, Hell's Paradise, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Zom 100. So I think, now it's not really talking about the studio, let me see. I'm on art direction, romance comedy. So we just got... Okay. So we don't really have, like, a best studio, which is honestly fine because it would just be a war between Ufotable and Mappa. But I think I'm going to use art direction to pick Zom 100. Not because I think it's the most visually pleasing, but I think considering that it seems like it's a new studio, and with what they had to work with, they did a really solid show, really well animated in my opinion, especially including a brand spanking new OP later on in the show. I think I gotta give their props just for that, and I really hope that Zom 100 at least wins something. And now we're on to Best Romance, and I don't know if it'll be included here, and it isn't. I wasn't sure if they would include Kaguya-sama because they did before. So, funny enough, besides My Happy Marriage, I have dipped my toes into each one of these shows. I started watching Insomniacs After School and Tomo-chan. Couldn't really get into either one of these, which is ironic because Sally Amaki is in Tomo-chan and she's hosting this. But Insomniacs After School just didn't really vibe with me. It definitely looked pleasing, but just didn't really care that much for me. Horimiya was fine, more of an extension of the original show, and Yamada and Skip and Loafer are just really solid overall. And actually, I didn't know that it was Madhouse. Now, if I want to be consistent, I would pick the one that I put further up on my list of anime from 2023. I don't know if Yamada or Skip and Loafer were even there, but I think just from the payoff, I'm going to go with Yamada. The payoff at the end of the show was honestly well worth it, and actually looking at it, everything else besides My Happy Marriage is about high school. I think with that, I gotta give it the props that it deserves. And Best Comedy. Oh yay. This is going to be... the first sight of Urusei Yatsura, actually. It's actually funny that Spy Family and Buddy Daddies are both here, because you can see comparisons between the two. It may be recency bias from the new season, but I think I'm actually going to go with Mashal for this. It's a bit of a niche taste, but I think it may be my favorite as far as comedy goes. Zom 100, and actually a lot of these, not sure about Urusei Yatsura, but a lot of these, well, I think I am going to stick with Mashal. As much as I really like the comedy of Bocchi the Rock, I think I already did vote for it, and I don't know if Mashal's ever going to show up again on this list, so I think it's fair to at least include it somewhere. But Mashal certainly has a bit of a special brand of humor, but I do really enjoy it at the same time. It's kind of similar with Bocchi the Rock, where the main character is the source of a lot of the comedy, but it's a bit of a different spin on it. Now we're up to Best Action, and I can already see that this is going to be overrun by Shonen. And it literally is. I mean, from the ones that I watched, I could really only vote for Demon Slayer or Jujutsu Kaisen. And I think I'm going to go with Demon Slayer. No shade to the No shade to anybody that really liked Jujutsu Kaisen over Demon Slayer, but personally, I like Demon Slayer's new season over Jujutsu Kaisen's, in my personal opinion. Best Fantasy, we have a lot less isekai than what I expected. And this is what I'm thinking of. Ranking of Kings has to be it because it hasn't shown up. And like I said with Mashal earlier, I don't know if it's ever going to come back. Although, the irony is not lost on me that Mashal is here as well. But I can always change these around if I really need to. Where are we at? Best Drama. I don't know what Now I know what constitutes drama. Well, it's Oshinoko, because I haven't really watched the other ones. So, yeah, easiest vote of my life. Best Slice of Life. Well, you know what? I'm not upset about this at all. I love all of these. Well, at least the shows that I have watched. I really like Horimiya, Yamada, and Skip and Loafer. Do It Yourself and Insomniacs they're fine. But this is fair because I have no problem picking Bocchi the Rock. This is unfortunately a bit of a roundabout way of doing things, and I still am not a fan that they saved Bocchi the Rock from 2022 and put it here instead. Because by that extension, there are a lot of shows from the end of 2023 that aren't even included here. I'm just pulling up the list right now to see. Yeah, by not including the end of 2023, the fall season, Freeren isn't gonna be here. Undead Unluck isn't gonna be here. Shangri-La Frontier isn't gonna be here, which is honestly fine because it's bleeding into 2024 anyway. Unfortunately, by not including shows from the end of 2023, they're leaving a lot of stuff on the table, which I can see both sides. In a way, I'm kind of happy because it means recency bias isn't really a thing, even though I picked Mashal because of it, but we're not going to even talk about that. We're going to just move on to Best Main Character, and I hope Hitori Goto is here! Well, that's actually wild that Denji's here for Best Main Character. No shade or anything, but it's kind of funny. Well, Eren Yeager isn't really the best person from what I know. I think I gotta give it to Mob. Even if we're talking the newest season, but just overall, I think that Mob is just a really good character. And supporting character, I wasn't really wanting to pick Reagan if I could help it. Oh yeah, he isn't the main character. My bad. I actually forgot that Gojo could be here because there are times it feels like he's the main character. But I think, first of all, I don't know who this Hong Zoe is. I'm assuming it looks like Attack on Titan. I don't really want to, but I don't want to pick Reagan because I just picked Mob. I don't think Kana is the best out of this group in my opinion. I think I'm actually going to go with Geto. Because he's an interesting character, especially in the new season, but also overall. Next is the Protect character. And I wouldn't be surprised that Anya's here. Huh. Pochta? Okay. That certainly wasn't my first choice, but sure. It may be because of Emmy Lowe's performance, but I think I'm going to pick Miri. I really like Miri, and I know that there are probably going to be people that don't like that I picked Miri over Anya, but I'm pretty sure I picked Anya with this category last year, because I'm sure it was a thing before. I think Miri is a really fun character, and Emmy Lowe's performance really helped with that. Now we're on to the songs, and I don't know... Idol, Kickback, Suzume, Seishun Complex, Work, and Wear a Blue. I'm going to come back to this, actually. I'm just going to move on. I'll have to remind myself to go to Best Anime Song. So let's move over to Best Score. And we have... I mean, only one of these is a music anime, right? And while I don't plan on listening to a lot of their songs in their own time, they're really solid songs. Although... Oshinoko is also music-based as well. No, I'm giving Bocchi the Rock some spotlight with this. I really like the show, and all the little insert songs that they have, really solid. Now we can go over to Best Opening, and then we can move back to... Wow. Dude, I didn't actually expect it here. So, I think my pick is going to be Song of the Dead. Again, like I said before, I think that Zom 100 should win something, especially with how good the show was in my opinion. But also, I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for this online, but Kanabun as an artist, they're okay. They're certainly not one of my favorite musical groups, because Silhouette from Naruto is fine. A lot of their songs are just fine to me. But I really like Song of the Dead. It's one of those songs that really makes me enjoy Kanabun, if that makes sense. But because I picked that for that, then Anime Song, I have no problem going with Where Our Blue Is. I wanted to wait to see what was on the opening sequence because I wouldn't want to double up because Idol and Kickback and I think even Bocchi the Rock's opening were over on opening sequence. I really like this opening. Honestly, I think Where Our Blue is one of the best openings from Jujutsu Kaisen. And it's a bit of the typical standard sound, but really solid. But we did opening sequence, now we moved to ending sequence. And okay. I mean, I don't really want to pick Happiness of the Dead because I already picked it for opening. I don't know what color sounds like. Well, I think Mephisto blows all of these out of the water in my opinion. I think, don't know if this will be a hot take. Well, it honestly probably is because Chainsaw Man has so many endings that it doesn't really feel fair. But I think from all of the shows that have one opening and one ending on here, I think Oshinoko has the most solid OP and ED of all of these. Really good opening, really good ending. I feel like it's good that I at least picked Oshinoko for one of these two. And now we got voice actor performances. And we have a lot of options. I really like Anya. I really like Anya's inflections and how Anya sounds. I think I'm actually going to go with Bocchi the Rock. I think that's what I'm going to go with. Because at least for a lot of, at least Anya and especially for Eren Yeager, I know that they do other roles. For example, I know Atsumi voiced that one girl in the latest season of My Hero. Yuki Kaiji is Todoroki in My Hero. But for Bocchi, I'm not familiar with anything else that Yoshino Aoyama does. So I think just based off of that and her inflections and everything with Bocchi, I think that's what I'm going to go with. Now, before I click on English, I will say there is a lot of stuff that I watch sub rather than dub. So it might be hard for me to actually pick. And it really is hard to pick because I didn't really watch a lot of these. And the ones that I did watch are sub only. Although it is kind of funny that Abby Trott is on here for Nezuko because of the new season. And I don't really want to spoil it, but if you know, you know. Based off of what I have here, I think I'm actually going to go with Ichigo. I haven't watched the new season, but based off of Ichigo, or I should say Johnny Young's performance early on in Bleach, I would assume he only got better and sounds a whole lot better now. So that's what I'm going to go with, because that's really the only way that I know how this character sounds. And I don't want to take time out to find a clip and listen to them. Now we go on to Anime of the Year. And this is actually really wild because my Anime of the Year isn't on here. I'll leave my video on my top 10 anime of 2023 at the end of this video if you want to watch it. But my pick for favorite anime isn't even here. So I suppose, you know what? I know it's not going to get any appreciation, but I'm going to go with Bocchi the Rock anyway. I'm not going to plan on going through all of these and making predictions, but I think, at least based off of Anime of the Year, my prediction for Anime of the Year is going to be Oshinoko. If it isn't Oshinoko, it's probably going to be Jujutsu Kaisen. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if Chainsaw Man, Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, and even Vinland Saga have a struggle between the four of them because they're all shonen at the end of the day. And that splits apart the vote. But that is going to be my pick for the Crunchyroll Anime Awards for 2024. If I'm not mistaken, the voting lasts until the 27th. So I'm hoping I can get this video out before then. But if not, I'll be around to hear the results of what happened here. Hopefully it's going to end up being good. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you next time. Momentai.